Just gonna send the tweet out.
So prepared. Ah.
Okay, cool. I just tweeted. Hi everyone, and welcome to Awesome Hardware. It's a live show. Discuss technology, computers, lots of fun stuff. We stream every Tuesday evening at 5:30 p.m. Pacific time on twitch.tv/awesomehardware, as well as to our YouTube channels. Mine is Paul's Hardware. That's where the first half of today's episode is being streamed to. This is episode number 190. Side A right now, and in 30-40 minutes we'll switch to Kyle's channel, which is side B. That's linked in the description, as well as links to the stories and articles and stuff we're going to talk about today.
You're not wrong, Paul.
It's going to be good. It's going to be good. Real good, real hard hitting. Couple quick words of warning before we begin the show. We do enjoy an adult beverage, typically beer. Feel free to join us if you're of age. Please drink responsibly. We also occasionally use adult language on the show.
Mother Glucker.
As Kyle is demonstrating right now. So keep an ear out for that. I think you've been warned, and we can proceed with selling stuff.
Yes.
Which is also what we do at the beginning of the show. If you guys would like to help support our channels, check out my store, paulshardware.net. A wide variety of high-quality merchandise awaits your perusal. Purchasing needs.
Is that a real word?
Hoodies, mugs, pint glasses. Yes, perusal.
I like that word.
There's nothing wrong with that.
It should be used more often.
Yeah, you peruse the wares. Captain Thumbscrew, still there. Still super nice. Thanks to all you guys who ordered during the show. We'll give you a shout out towards the end. If you want to check out Kyle's store, it's bitwit.tech/store. He has his new Screw with Confidence shirts, as well as other high quality merch.
I'm wearing it.
Kyle's wearing it right now.
I really like the olive color. I don't know if I have one of those yet. I think I do.
I have both.
It might be dirty. You have both, yeah.
And you have both too, because
I do have both.
Because they were sent to me.
And I don't know where my olive one went. I need to find it. But it's nice, because I usually wear black. It's nice to switch it up to something.
Yeah, it's good to have some color in your life.
Yeah.
Remind you that, there's
warmth and joy to the world.
Outside spaces and all that good stuff. All right.
Beautiful.
Since it looks like everything is going well so far. Also, big shout out to our moderator, Cell Processing.
Oh!
He's there in chat.
Cell, I tried to find the section for disabling links in chat because that was a problem last week, but I could not find it. It looks like you can disable comments in live chat altogether, but there was no option for link disabling unless I completely missed it. But
I think you have to do that when you set up the live stream, possibly.
I looked in those settings too, like in the event settings.
Didn't look hard enough.
So she said.
Maybe there's a link that could lead you to that. Anyway, all right, let's talk about tech news. Wait, I'm supposed to click this thing. Why won't that go? There, tech news, lower thirds. Very professional. Starting off with a bit more information that has come out about Nvidia's RTX Super.
Ooh, Super.
You guys might have heard a little bit about Super around Computex that week, because that's when they first put out that video where it was like a shiny logo that said Super and GeForce, and everyone was like, "Oh, mysterious Nvidia, what are you doing?"
I haven't folled any of this, so I know nothing. No, so I'm actually very excited.
Well, it kind of makes sense, because honestly, it was like there's not really much substance to it. It was a big tease, and a lot of people thought Nvidia was doing that to just sort of suck some of the wind out of AMD sales with their Radeon announcements and their Navi stuff, and that probably is the case. But there is something called Nvidia Super, at least according to these leaks. I mean, according to Nvidia's article, of course, or video. And now we have this chart here. This is an overclock3d.net article showing actual listings for these Super cards. RTX 2080 Super, 2070 Super, and 2060 Super. Bear in mind, all this is early information, has not been verified or confirmed by Nvidia, so it could all be bunk. But the information as to the launch dates that they're talking about, which is a Super series of cards in mid-July, came from Video Cards. And then Igor Wallachek, shown right there, sporting just a very snappy pink shirt. I like his shirt.
He's rocking it.
He came out with some of these specs that are listed here. So we're looking at a mid-July launch would be just after the Radeon Navi series, the new RX 5700 and 5700 XT launch. These specs indicate that the cards are slightly juiced versions of the existing RTX 2060, 2070, and 2080. The biggest difference here is going to be your 2060 Super down at the lower end. No price listed here, of course, but it's jumping from 6 gigs to 8 gigs of memory. The existing RTX 2060 has 6 gigs. Now we have 8 gigs there. Beyond that, we're looking at about 128 to 256 more CUDA cores, depending on which version you're looking at. The 2080 Super looks like it's going to sit between the existing RTX 2080 and the 2080 Ti. There doesn't appear to be an RTX 2080 Ti Super. And honestly, that'd be getting to the point where Nvidia is just having too many little supplemental names to add on like at the end. Like, for instance, I guess they couldn't have made a 2080 Ti. They already have that. But it could be the 2070 Ti and 2060 Ti, right?
Yeah.
But they're throwing Super in there, I guess. Super. It's Super.
TI's old news, man.
Yeah,
it's all about Super. That's probably what the Nvidia marketing team said to Jensen. We got to go Super.
I guess.
Super.
So think what you may or think about them calling it Super, but it does seem like they're having a bit of a refresh for the RTX series, and probably rumor has it that Nvidia plans to reveal their RTX Super series of graphics cards within the next 2 weeks, according to this article.
Coincidental? I think not.
Article's from the 13th. It is now the 18th. That seems a little short if it's going to be after the Navi launch, because the Navi launch is the 7th.
What's short?
The article says within 2 weeks, but that would still be in June.
Yeah.
If it was 2 weeks from when the article was posted.
Oh, right.
So anyway, we still don't know for sure. But feel free to check the article out if you want to look a little bit more specifically at some of those specs. It's not just the CUDA cores. There is also a boost in the memory speed. It looks like some of the models that were using slower GDDR6 have moved up to faster GDDR6 from 14, or at least the bandwidth. Yeah, right?
Yeah.
Oh, because the interface, I'm sorry.
The interface is
interface for the 2060 went from 192-bit to 256 because they're adding more memory modules, so you have an additional memory controller, and that means that the bandwidth went from 336 to 448. Also, with the 2080, the memory speed went up to 16 gigabits per second. Still GDDR6 though, but anyway, so that's where you get your 448 gigabytes per second to 512. So a bit more memory bandwidth there.
It makes sense. It makes sense that the only card whose memory capacity was bumped up was the RTX 2060, because now at 8 gigs it'll rival the RX 5700 series.
Yes.
So that would make sense.
And Nvidia, I think, would much rather be able to say, like, here's our card and it's better than their card, and not have to make some excuse like, well, your card only has 6 gigs of RAM and theirs has 8 gigs.
They're leaving AMD with no cards to play.
They've gotten tired of doing that with the existing, with like the 1060 and the RX 580 and stuff.
Yeah, they played that out.
That's been around for a while. And this will lend some credence to some of the stuff that AMD said in the past week or two, which is that they've specifically are targeting the RX 5700 and 5700 XT at 1440p gaming, 2560 by 1440, and that 6 gigs of RAM is maybe cutting it a little slim for 1440 gaming.
Yeah.
AMD said that if this is true, it would seem like Nvidia agrees, at least to some extent. Maybe I'm putting too many words in their mouth, but I think that makes some sense. And also just for the spec sheet when they're doing comparative comparisons of the cards. Of course, we'll have to wait to see what the frequencies that they're running at are. Hopefully there'll be some clock speed boosts there too. It'll be interesting to see if there will be significant clock speed boosts. It's not listed in this article here, but I think in the original video cards article they list the actual GPU names, because each GPU has like a different little SKU, and they do have an updated name on there. I don't know if they just did that to differentiate the chips, or if there's any significant difference in the manufacturing process for the chips for these at all, or refinements or something like that.
Yeah.
Still lots remains to be seen, but hopefully we'll find out soon. And if you bought a 2070 or 2080 or 2060, you're a sucker, because there's better ones coming out. I'm just kidding. That is always the case for anyone who buys any computer parts.
Yeah.
All right, let's move on to this. This actually is from a couple weeks ago. The original article is from the end of May. So it's been out for a couple weeks, but we didn't really talk about it too much. And there's a little bit of an update going on here, but this is about some UserBenchMark and GeekBench benchmarks. They have online databases, and the benchmarks were uploaded to them that were sourced from Ryzen 5 3600s, that being 3rd gen Ryzen parts, Zen 2 based, some of the chips that we're expecting to come out, well, that we are pretty sure are coming out on July 7th. So you make big liars of AMD if they go back on that at this point. The 3600 is the lowest end in the stack at $200. Has 4.2 gigahertz boost clock, 3.6 gigahertz base, just a 65 watt TDP. So I'm expecting this to be a pretty popular chip because price, $200 and everything. These numbers were sourced from Tum Apisak. We've talked about his database numbers before because he likes to dig into the benchmark databases from sources like this and find numbers that were uploaded by people who have the chips already, theoretically, and didn't unplug their internet when they were running these benchmarks, so the benchmarks got automatically uploaded. Of course, again, this is early information, could be all bollocks, but we'll find out. We'll find out soon. 2 sets of scores, just a couple for each one. The first one here is from UserBenchMark, and you can see they give an overall score as a percentage. There's different configurations, I believe, for the different setups here, but it scored 107% on this upper score, which, according to the article, would put it on par with an i7 8700K or an AMD Ryzen Threadripper 1950X. Pretty good numbers. If these new CPUs from AMD are getting, if they're nudging up against the current IPC performance, or the current single-core performance of what Intel already has, like with an 8600K, 8700K, that sort of thing, then that's a pretty big indicator that AMD has done a lot of catch-up with the with the new microarchitecture design, as well as the process shrink down to 7 nanometers, and it would indicate that hopefully that's going to mean better gaming performance and so on. The
clock speeds are a lot higher this time around too.
Clock speeds are definitely boosted up as well.
Might be able to get higher on 6 cores than you will on 8 or 16 for sure.
Yeah, well, I hope so. I mean, even if it's like just a couple cores on the higher core count ones that can run it at the faster frequency. Second tests were from GeekBench. This was run on an Asus TUF Gaming X570 Plus motherboard. Scored 5,390 points single core, 26,371 on the multi-core. There's also a link, there was a discussion on the Linus Tech Tips about this, and they posted a link to a GeekBench i5 8600 benchmark score. So you can look at the single core score there, which is about 5,700, about 5,400. It looks like, at least in this comparison, the 8600K is running a little bit faster. You have to bear in mind that with these summaries, they don't always show the frequency, so that's something that you kind of have to keep in mind. Mr. Episac, though, wait, where'd it go? There you go. Mr. Episac, where's your link? Toom. Oh, there it is. Toom. Anyway, here's his Twitter. He is continually posting things, so he actually just within the past 24 hours posted this, which you might be able to see is the 3800X. Yeah, 3800X, which is an 8-core, the higher end 8-core. It's getting to run at a faster speed. Single core score there, a bit higher, but not too much, at 5,406.
Still slower than the 8600.
Multi-core score of 34,000. Oh, by the way, I didn't show the multi-core. So this is the 8600 multi-core score of 22,000. This is the 3600, 26,000. So, similar to what we've been seeing with Ryzen 1st and 2nd gen, even if you're seeing a little bit of a drop-off in single core, that multi-core score for anything you're doing, I think the most practical use is like video encoding or something like that. Right. You're getting a lot more juice there. Multi-core score for the 3800X, 34,059, which is up there with some of the higher end desktop scores. Of course, the tests vary depending on settings and everything like that, and you can't determine all of that from the reports here. But, actually, though, I did want to show that the link for the 3800X did show the frequency. It was running at base of 3.9 and a max frequency of 4.47 gigahertz. Not bad.
I'm surprised that the multi-core scores for these Ryzen 3000 series processors have been like quite a bit higher, like notably higher than last gen. Because I was expecting AMD to definitely work on their single core performance to catch up with Intel, because that's sort of been their weak point in that area. But it seems like they've optimized for multi-core performance as well. And all the stuff that they've talked about for how they've like limited a lot of workload to a single CCX instead of like transmitting data between them to reduce latency further.
Yes, that was a Windows update.
Yeah, that was a Windows update as well. But I feel like that's kind of cool. They're attacking multiple fronts.
Yes, well, I mean, if you can figure that they're taking a single core performance and increasing it this much, then you take that and multiply it by 16 threads or more. If you're going for the 12 or 16, talking about the 12 or 16 cores, then it's going to add up.
Yeah. While reducing latency between cores as well. It's pretty cool.
Nice. So cool. Like I said, early numbers, unverified, but exciting nonetheless. So
I'm excited.
Got a few more weeks. July 7th again is when the launch is. Although I believe pre-orders go up on July 1st. But don't pre-order stuff. It's bad.
Don't do it.
Bad to do.
Wait for the videos.
Next up, cryptocurrency. Everyone gasps.
Wow, I haven't heard about cryptocurrency.
We haven't talked about cryptocurrency much since kind of the bubble burst and GPU mining sort of became unpopular.
Is it hot again now, Paul? Should we dive in? Oh,
this is a Facebook cryptocurrency. It's called Libra, and I just thought it was somewhat interesting.
Libra.
So I'm going to go over it. TechCrunch article here is very long. If you guys really are interested in this, I encourage you to read it, because I'll be perfectly honest, I did not get through the whole thing. I was crunching, trying to get stuff ready for the show, and there's more to be said about this. But from a high-level perspective, this new cryptocurrency called Libra will let you buy things or send money to people with nearly zero fees, according to Facebook. So you can buy or cash out your Libra online or at local exchange points like grocery stores. You can spend it using interoperable third-party wallet apps or Facebook's Calibra wallet that will be built into WhatsApp, Messenger, as well as the Facebook app. What they released today, just today or was this yes? This is 15 hours ago, so yes, this was today. What they released today was a white paper which explains Libra and its testnet. They are working out kinks in the blockchain system, and they're expecting a public launch of this in the first half of 2020. I am of multiple thoughts about this, because on the one hand, finding a good use case for blockchain is a good thing. It is a useful technology, and I think there's problems with the cryptocurrency bubbles in like 2013, 2014, and in the past couple years. But I think finding a good way to use it that's sort of more universal, I think will be beneficial to people. There's a lot of stuff that it can replace when it comes to fees and tracking of things. However, if you look at the people who are behind this, Facebook, we're not exactly the biggest fans of Facebook around here. We've pointed out quite a few things that we don't like about them. They are not completely in control of Libra, because there's actually a governance board that's going to be controlled by the founding members of the Libra Association. And that includes currently 28 different companies, although they say they're trying to expand it to, they want like 100 by the time it actually goes, they actually go live with it. This includes like companies like Uber and Lyft, eBay, Spotify. You got Facebook down here. You got others such as Visa. You have some independent, what do you call it? You got some venture capitalists like Andreessen Horowitz, Breakthrough Initiatives, capital companies. So you might look at this list of companies, and you may or may not have existing opinions about some of them. So I don't know.
Does this mean we can use Libra through other apps besides Facebook?
Yes.
Okay.
It is a currency.
But they created it. But Facebook created it. They just.
Facebook is one of the founding members
they're just one of
the Libra Association.
Okay.
So there's lots of different companies involved because Facebook wants it to be universal.
Yeah.
I mean, I think their ideal goal is to create a universal digital currency that's international, that you can use anywhere. That, you know, ideally for the end user is like convenient and doesn't have fees for transferring money and moving stuff around. What Facebook and all these companies get out of that is, well, they can do data mining. They can see what's happening with the money and where it's going.
Yeah.
They will also, where did it go there? They basically will earn interest on the money that's in there. They'll earn interest on the money that users cash in that's held in reserve. So there'll be a pile of money there that they'll earn interest on.
Right. That's like how Venmo makes money. Like there's no ads in Venmo, but I think they just make money off of interest.
And each of the founding members has paid a minimum of $10 million to join, and then they will have the option to become a validator and node operator. And again, the article has more technical details on this that I'm not going to delve into right now because I'll probably get stuff wrong. But no, that's the thing I wanted. It's not a mining operation. GPU mining is not involved. So if that's been your concern this whole time, don't worry. This is not going to suddenly be something that people are mining Libra and buying more GPUs for or something like that.
So you can only get it through spending real money and converting it?
Yeah, you can convert money, and then you can transfer. And I imagine at a certain point they'll have transfer rates that go up or down or whatever. But yeah, again, stuff in the article talking about some of like the inconsistency of the value of stuff like Bitcoin for what they wanted to do. So I bring this up more as an FYI rather than like, I hope nobody tries to think I'm saying like, hey, look at Libra, it's awesome or anything like that. This is a wait and see type of thing. I personally don't have a huge amount of trust in Facebook or several of the other companies involved here. Yeah. So I doubt I'm going to be jumping on and starting to use this or anything. Yeah, I guess that kind of wraps it up. Anyway, let's move on.
My Chase credit card still works very well everywhere.
Oh, that's good. That's good. The mighty dollar. The almighty dollar. Okay.
Sure.
Gizmodo article here. I Have Been Pwned is for sale. You gonna buy it?
Have I been pwned?
Have you used Have I Been Pwned?
No, I haven't. I've heard of this.
Yes, it's a website founded by security researcher Troy Hunt in 2013, and it's been around for a while. It's been sort of a key player in certain hacks, mainly like hacks of existing companies that have massive databases of user information. Companies get hacked, they find that the user information is stored with very poor security, and now that information, you know, is out there somewhere. Hackers have it. They're probably going to sell it and resell it or whatever. Have I Been Pwned is a website that has broken news about hacks of this kind. And it has a really cool thing where you go on there and you punch your email address in, and it tells you if your email address has been pwned before.
Compromised in any way.
So to speak. Compromised. If your email address was part of any of these massive data breaches.
That's handy.
Yeah, handy in many ways.
Doing the Lord's work.
However, Troy Hunt has been the main person doing the Lord's work in this way, and he's tired. I imagine he's got lots of other things. But
poor Troy.
He has a statement. He made a blog post about this. He said, "It's time to go from that one guy doing what he can in his available time to a better resourced and better funded structure that's able to do way more than what I could ever do on my own." Have I Been Pwned gets about 150,000 unique visits on a typical day, but that can spike significantly. They get 10 million unique visits on an abnormal day, such as when various collections of data are dropped online that might, for instance, collection number 1 back in January that exposed 773 million emails and 21 million passwords. Yeah, so he says he's getting burnt out and he needs to hand this off. I'm hoping that this is acquired by a reputable company that continues doing this because this is very good. A lot of people, you need to know this. Like the key thing about this is like you might not be hacked. Your email or whatever other accounts that you have might be just fine. But the login information for those might be out there, might have been released in a previous hack, and all it takes is for the right person to purchase that information and then feed it to some botnets that start going and testing for vulnerabilities, and suddenly, you know, they realize that they have your actual log information.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's a very useful tool. If you guys have never used it, it is up and running. So feel free to go there and check your emails. And
what do you think it's going to sell for?
Guido says that it's been purchased by Windows Defender. That's not true.
No.
Anyway.
Does it say how much he's selling it for?
I don't think so.
Oh.
All it says, Troy said, since he posted his blog, a few organizations have reached out to him asking to be part of the merger and acquisition process. That's all the article says as far as that goes. So cool. Anyway. All right.
Don't sell it to Norton.
That's all. Yes.
Please.
No Symantec. All right, that's all we got for the general tech news. We have another segment here, the ever popular yes no.
Love it.
Which is yet another iteration of us pinging you guys for information about stuff. Yes no is a very simple, very straightforward though, very simple and straightforward.
It is.
We have a thing. We're gonna rule yes or no on it, whether it should be or should not be, and that's pretty much it.
Hot button topics only.
Yeah. Fortunately, we're repeating stuff we've already talked about a little bit, so we can go through stuff. As we've done in segments like this in the past, we're going to run through each thing first, and then we'll jump back to the first one to get your feedback on it. And there's straw poll links for each one. So the first one we already discussed, Nvidia RTX Super. We told you guys the info about it, at least that we know, or that we theoretically know. So we're judging this based on theory to some extent. And the question is just yes or no. What do you guys think? Nvidia Super, is this a good idea? Should Nvidia go forward with it? I'll zoom in. Look at that zoom job there. Pretty straightforward there.
Yes, it is.
Our wonderful friend Cell is linking the straw polls.
Thanks, Sal.
In chat, so you guys can vote on that.
There's really no room for gray areas in this segment, is there?
No, that's why it's yes, no, because
there's no maybe. It wouldn't be yes, no, maybe. Yes, maybe, no. Yes, no,
no, that's
maybe.
why
yes, no, maybe so. Maybe
there's not even like a third cop-out answer or anything like that.
That's true.
Because
very clear cut.
Oh wow, that's funny.
What?
I have subtitles on, so it's doing automatic subtitles. I should just read, linking the straw polls Excel, that it's really no room for gray areas. It's picking it up pretty well.
It's usually pretty good. I'd love to see it on the wild video, see how that goes.
We could just I could just keep reading the subtitles from like 30 seconds ago, and eventually it would
cycle.
Yeah.
Catch up
be
with
like
yourself.
a speaker reverberation or something like that. All right, next article here is from MIT Technology Review. Actually, the next two articles are from MIT Technology Review. It's pretty much explained in this image right here, but there's also a headline. There's a new chip they have been working on, Real-Time Robotics, a startup in Boston, and they have this new chip that lets robots, quote-unquote, imagine their actions before they make a movement. So especially in industrial situations where you have robots that are doing things, if you get in their way, most of the time they have no way of knowing you're in their way or sensing that or anything, and they'll move right through you. So possibly to prevent workplace injuries, they're giving robots sensory information. So as you can see, he puts his arm out in front there, and instead of going through his arm or running into his arm, the robot sees his arm there, maneuvers around it in order to continue its job.
Fancy.
So basically, we're giving robots the ability to sense, and you might think, like the first thing you might think here is, oh, that's a good thing. However, I will point out that this is giving, like, one of the things that humans have that gives us an advantage is that somewhere up here in the frontal cortex, we have like this simulation thing. We can imagine things before they happen. We can think like, oh, if I jam this into my eyeball and it'll hurt or something like that. So you can imagine stuff. We're giving robots that capability. Will they use it for good or for evil? We don't really know.
I mean, are they really imagining it, or are they just detecting an object and going around it? Is it just an algorithm that
says imagine in quotes, Kyle.
That's a headline. That's a headline, though.
It's MIT Technology Review. They do not...
Yeah, they're full of... I know clickbait when I see it, right? It takes a clickbaiter to know one. And that's pure clickbait. It is a fascination of ours to give robots human properties. It's like, oh, they're imagining it, or they're thinking. Not... Eventually. And in some cases they already do, I guess, you could argue, but these, I think, they're just programmed.
Fortunately, though,
imagining
it is the
having daydreams.
It is the nature about this. Of the yes/no segment that we can completely ignore that and make a summary judgment without even having that information.
I don't like ignoring it.
I mean, then you cannot ignore it too. You have the choice.
All right.
You can do...
Are we arguing this right now, or...?
No, we're not arguing anything. We're just seeing what people think yes or no. I mean, we could say our opinions, too, when we come back to it.
I'll imagine
don't want to taint anything.
I'll imagine what my answer will be.
Should robots be able to imagine their actions before they make moves? Yes or no? Let us know. Final here, MIT Technology Review, kind of in the same vein. The world's best supercomputers are being updated to run AI software faster. This is from the International Supercomputing Conference, which kicked off in Frankfurt yesterday.
Frankfurter.
They have a list of the 500 most powerful supercomputers. U.S. is still on top. China has the most computers on the list. So the U.S. has the most computing power with 116 supercomputers. China has more supercomputers, though, with 219. Anyway, that's kind of besides the point. AI, right? Artificial intelligence.
Terrifying.
Thinking machines, supercomputers, gene sequencers. Break down the strand in minutes. What was I talking about there? Anyway, they're doing software optimizations here to make them better at AI. Gaining access to the supercomputers can be a challenge because they're in high demand. However, like geospatial AI, I didn't get good notes on this article, so I'm kind of reading it as we go.
To be honest, I missed 90% of everything you just said.
That's fine.
On this point,
should computers be able to do AI faster? Or, like, we're giving them more power. I guess it's kind of the same question we're dealing with in both of these circumstances.
Like, how quickly do we want Skynet to happen?
Yeah.
Do we want to accelerate that eventual?
And we're talking, I don't know, like AI sort of as a general concept. Artificial intelligence seems like something it's other. It's separate from people, and the computers that are processing AI. Not to put too fine a point on it, but like these are the most powerful computers in the world. We're giving them the ability to think even better. This is what I'm saying. Like Skynet.
Right.
That's the concern here. So anyway, point being, we're not trying to get into details here. Should this be a thing? Yes or no? Let us know your opinion. I want to get back to getting answers for these things. So
I'm scared. This segment's scaring me.
Back to the most. Well, that's the whole idea. You got to face your fears, Kyle.
No to everything. I just want to say no on everything. Okay, we got to argue RTX Super right now, right?
I don't argue, just guessing.
Or just guessing. Okay.
People already voted. People have their opinions.
I'm going to say yes. RTX Super. Competition.
You're stoked for it?
I'm stoked. No, not really. I'm not stoked, but I'm just saying yes as in it's a logical business move on NVIDIA's part.
All right,
they need to stay competitive. They're always one step ahead of... Yeah.
No, Kyle.
Of course. I deep down, I say no. Internally, I don't think this is great.
It's like you're shooting yourself in the foot then.
It's just going to make the product stack more confusing, and it's just a cash grab from...
But see, now your yes opinion is starting to sway people. And yes, just gained another percentage point.
Power of persuasion.
38 to 39.
Yeah, had that effect on people.
I like these yes/no because it's so clear cut.
Yeah.
61% of people think that NVIDIA should not do the RTX.
Yeah, there's no turnip option.
Exactly. All right, moving on. Should robots be able to imagine their actions before they make a move?
Big fat no on this
Kyle
one.
says no.
Big fat no.
That's fine because I wanted to say yes.
Nope.
I trust the robots, at least little robots with arms. I think they're kind of cute.
No, you're teaching them. You're essentially teaching them to dodge bullets, so that when we eventually need to counterattack them, they'll be able to just Matrix Neo that bullshit, because they're imagining the bullets hitting them.
Look, guys, right again. Even more strongly, 70%.
So I'm rooting for the underdog, which is myself.
All right, so we need to give robots the ability to imagine stuff.
Nope.
I mean, and really, life without an imagination is boring. So, yeah. Finally, should supercomputers be updated to run AI software faster? Yes or no?
No.
Kyle says no. I'm going to say yes here as well. I think
Yeah. If the last
they're
question
gonna get
got
smart.
yes,
They're going to get smart enough as long as we have like prime directives in place that like humans shouldn't die or be killed or should get massages and free cheeseburgers. I think it's okay.
you're putting too much trust in the computers, Paul.
And they'll probably do a better job at figuring stuff out.
They probably already have you in the, yeah, they already
See?
have you.
Wow, I was 3 for 3 here.
Jeez.
I don't know where that thing should supercomputer.
You're all doomed.
So yeah, we're ready to hand off control, right? To the supercomputers
God,
with their AI.
That's exactly what we don't.
Just give in, Kyle.
No.
It's not. It's just fine. Once you've let go of yourself and your desires, and you realize that the computers really know what's best.
I have a suspicion that you are a robot, that you're just one of them, and you're trying to coerce me into your little scheme, whatever hive mentality, hive mind that you guys have laid out. Not guys, that you droids have planned for.
First off, that's offensive.
See,
Second off,
only a droid would say that.
That's ridiculous, Kyle.
Sounds like something. Yeah, right. Where's your CPU? Let me take that out.
No, Kyle.
Frightened.
You have nothing to fear from us. All right, let's wrap it. That wraps it up for my half of the show. Thank you all so much for watching.
Beautiful.
And for voting and all the good stuff. We have more stuff to talk about on Kyle's half. If you're watching on Twitch, just stay right where you are. If you're watching on YouTube, the link to Kyle's half is down in the description. Thanks again for watching.
Yes.
Kill all humans.
What?